The House has finally passed Trump's big, beautiful bill after it finally advanced from the House Rules Committee after that 22-hour marathon debate session. Now approving the tax and immigration package and fulfilling a lot of President Trump's promises. Joining us now to discuss the impact of this bill for small businesses is the CEO of the Job Creators Network, Alfredo Ortiz. Good morning to you, Alfredo. Great to see you. What a morning, huh?
Oh, it is definitely morning in America. It's a great morning. I've never watched so much C-SPAN in my life.
You highlighted how important this bill was for millions of Americans and small businesses. How will this create more economic growth and jobs for millions of Americans?
Yeah, well, this bill was huge for our small businesses, for all Americans, frankly, but our small businesses did extremely well. One of the most important things that it did is restored immediate expensing for our small businesses, which was huge, up to 100%. So you can invest today and deduct today, which is going to be an amazing boom for our small businesses. It actually increased the deduction for our small business. It's called the 199A. That deduction from 20% to 23%. That's hundreds of millions of dollars back in the pockets of our small business owners to invest back in jobs, invest back in wages and benefits, and back, frankly, into their own businesses. So, I mean, this is truly a jobs bill as much as it's one big, beautiful bill. This is a jobs bill. And boy, I have to tell you, we are so excited to be part of this. And now it's up to the Senate, though, of course. The job's half done.
Speaking of which, you say forget any media spin or liberal narratives. These tax cuts directly help the middle class. Tell us how, and also some of the stories from small business owners that they shared with you about their own experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we know from the first go around that, and unfortunately the Democrats were trying to spin the same exact thing back then, that, folks were just going to misspend that, and it was for millionaires and billionaires, a tax cut. Look, it went to hardworking Americans, hardworking small businesses that really create 2/3 of America's jobs. And that's the important thing here, is that it really goes to support that. And so they increased their wages, they increased the benefits, they increased the number of employees as they expanded their businesses. So this, again, is, we expect almost 6 million jobs are going to be created out of this from small businesses and Main Street businesses, and just create billions and billions of dollars of economic growth from our Main Street businesses. Remember, Jan, that they were still hurting from coming out of COVID, and then during the Biden administration dealing with all of that record high inflation. So this is just such an enormous sigh of relief. Now they know they can plan for investments, which is just an amazing thing and an amazing opportunity. So we are just going to see our economy just take off. I know Kevin Hassett just the other day predicted 3 to 4% growth in the back half. I surely actually expect that will happen, and we will just see this economy just roar.
You mentioned that small businesses right now are still trying to recover from really 4 years of the Biden administration. What is the state of small businesses right now across America?
Well, I have to tell you, as small businesses wake up and hear the news about the passage of the House bill, I think they will feel better and better about their investments in their businesses going forward. I think people are still kind of waiting and seeing what the Senate's going to do. I hope the Senate's smart here and it adopts what the House passed, because I have to tell you, my goodness, Speaker Johnson deserves the Saint of the Year award, because getting through the different factions that existed on the House Republican side was an enormous feat. I was there this week with Speaker Johnson.
People always doubt him.
Taking phone calls, and I have to tell you, it was tough.
Yeah, you can't count him out. There's plenty of doubt, but he always comes through, it seems like. Your organization says, when it comes to fiscal concerns, especially when you have these, fiscal hawks in the Senate, they should not hold up these tax cuts, and explain why not.
Yeah, so one of the biggest reasons, I don't want to be wonky at 7:30 in the morning here, but when you look at the way this is actually scored, the CBO, Budget Office, the way they score this, it's all what's called a static scoring, which basically doesn't take into account the growth that's actually going to come from these tax cuts. And we know from the first go around, this isn't a hypothetical. Growth actually happens when you reduce taxes. And so we expect probably about $4 to $5 trillion of economic growth, which pretty much covers the entire cost of this entire tax bill. So we're going to see this. The deficits are going to go away. They're going to get reduced. And I think this particular Congress, our Republicans, are serious about spending. I do have to say one thing that we have been promoting, and I think we should put back on the table after this is all said and done and the Senate does its thing. We should start having a serious conversation about having a constitutional balanced budget amendment. I think this is needed so that both sides are able to exercise fiscal discipline.
As you said, reducing taxes, one of the best ways to open us up to increase revenues, which is exactly what Democratic President John F. Kennedy said back in 1963. That was on your website. I saw it this morning. All right.
That's right. That's right. In fact, we have an ad with him as the main pitch person on that.
CEO of the Job Creators Network, Alfredo Ortiz. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Jan.